Lahat ng drama, lahat ng tawanan, lahat ng iyong all-time hits. Ang tanging huntahan ng Masanggamaw. Number 1 sa Mega Manila, nationwide pa. Broadcasting from TGON, TVH Group of Networks. Dito lang sa inyong iisang himpilan. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews at 6.
Good evening and welcome to koolNews at 6. I'm Carlo. Pro-environment group Eco-Escalation has urged the Food and Drug Administration to convene a multi-stakeholder summit to address the ongoing trade of Mercury London cosmetics in the country. The proposal was made in a letter sent to FDA Director General Samuel Zacate and FDA Center for Cosmetics and Household Urban Hazardous Substance Regulation and Research Director Anna Rivera last August 15. We write to propose to the FDA, the lead regulatory agency for health products, to convene a multi-stakeholder summit to solve once and for all the seemingly interminable trade of mercury cosmetics, particularly skin products for lightening the skin tone, said Eco-Escalation National Coordinator Aileen Lucero in the letter, as quoted in a statement on Saturday. The proposal came as the international community commemorated the entry into force on August 16, 2017 of the Minamata Convention on Mercury. This treaty is aimed at protecting the public and the environment from activities contributing to global mercury pollution. While we fully recognize the past and current efforts of the FDA to address this grave threat to public health, the importation and distribution, sale, and use of skin lightening products with undisclosed mercury content persists. It is apparent that the FDA needs to muster the support of other agencies and sectors to put this serious health threat to rest, Lucero said. The enormous expansion of online marketing has literally brought these dangerous products to the fingertips of consumers. With their unrestrained advertising and promotion in e-commerce sites, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, these health-damaging products are merely one click away, she added. Eco-Escalation said that the proposed summit could enforce an agreement among various groups to stop the trade of mercury-laden cosmetics. It added that 290 stores have been found selling FDA-banned mercury-laden cosmetics from January 2023 to August 2024, despite the ban of mercury cosmetics globally. Wait. Taguig City signed 2 agreements for healthcare opportunities with Singapore on Friday following the visit of Singapore President Tharman Shanmugaratnam to the country to strengthen ties focusing on healthcare and economic development. The first initiative, a public-private philanthropic partnership led by CareSpan Asia Incorporated and Tasmastec Foundation, is set to provide primary healthcare access to 350,000 underserved residents of Taguig through an advanced digital healthcare platform, the post of the Taguig City government said. The second initiative, in collaboration with the SingHealth Duke NUS Maternal and Child Health Research Institute, focuses on improving key health indicators, infrastructure planning, and capacity building in Taguig's maternal and child health facilities, it added. The Singaporean president in a ceremony in Taguig City on Friday highlighted the importance of collaboration in ensuring the provision of maternal and child healthcare in the developmental years of the child. I'm so happy that we're doing this together. The good comes in the doing. It requires committed partnerships. In your case, the mayor and the team in Taguig City, KK Women's and Children's Hospital, who has the experts, Temasek Foundation, who is helping to make this possible, and everyone else who's involved, said President Shanmugaratnam. Taguig City Mayor Lani Catiano said that the agreements are powerful symbols of our shared dedications to advancing maternal and child health in the Philippines. During Shanmugaratnam's state visit in the country, he and President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. signed a memorandum of understanding on the recruitment of Filipino healthcare workers to Singapore, according to the Presidential Communications Office. The PCO also said that the visit marks a notable chapter in the 55-year history of formal diplomatic relations between the two countries. There are around 200,000 Filipinos in Singapore. Vice President Sarah Trudeau on Saturday said she cannot comment on the 2018 Cebu importation mess allegedly involving her husband, Mens Cabrillo, and brother Davao City First District Representative Apollo Pulong Duterte. Unfortunately, I cannot speak for Congressman Pulong Duterte. I understand he has released statements to address this issue, she said in an unabashed interview after her attendance at the 39th Kadayawan Festival in Davao City on Saturday. And my husband, Mans Carpio, and I also discussed that he would address his own issues, and I would address mine so that our responses are clear, Duterte added. Jimmy Guban, a former Customs Intelligence Officer, told a Congressional Joint Committee hearing on Friday that the real owners of the billion peso shipment of Cebu in 2018 were Representative Duterte, Carpio, and businessman Michael Yang. He added that he was warned not to implicate the three individuals in the drug shipment. Guban told lawmakers that former Environment Undersecretary Benny Horda sent an emissary to warn and threaten him that he would die if he tagged Representative Duterte, Carpio, and Yang in the controversy. Vice President Duterte said the allegation of Guban is political harassment and political attacks. But as I always say, not just in the case filed against them, all of this is political harassment, political attacks. You can see it came out when I left the Department of Education, or DepEd. It came out when I was speaking about what we should be doing for our country, Vice President Duterte said. The government is on track to attain a single-digit poverty rate by 2028, Finance Undersecretary Domini Velasquez said on Saturday. The poverty rate released by the PSA, or Philippine Statistics Authority, is low. It also decreased. Actually, it is still quite high at 15.5% when looking at individuals. But what's important here is that we're on track. Hopefully, by the end of President Marcos' administration, it will be below 10% and in single digits. So we're actually on track to bring down poverty to single digits, she added. Velasquez cited the country's second quarter gross domestic product growth as one of the indicators that the country is on its way to achieving a single-digit poverty rate. In the recent few weeks, we have actually seen good economic indicators. The GDP growth in the second quarter, the size of the economy, grew by 6.3%. That's coming from 5.8% in quarter one, she said. But Velasquez also noted that Filipino consumer spending remains conservative. It seems so because remember 2 years ago our inflation was actually high at 6%, 5.8% last year, but now it's going down. So hopefully the outlook in terms of household consumption will be better, she said. Meanwhile, Velasquez said the country's unemployment figures are also okay, highlighting that the latest unemployment rate was at 3.1% compared with the pre-pandemic record of around 5.1%. So actually employment is better. More people are getting jobs. Underemployment, although still a bit above, around 12%, is also somewhat lower compared to the pandemic period, she said. The Department of Trade and Industry plans to overhaul the framework for the handling of investigations, complaints, and formal charges to provide a simplified and uniform procedure for a more efficient, expedient, and convenient disposition of consumer-related cases. Citing the changing trends brought about by recent technological events, such as the rise in online shopping and digital marketing, the DDI sees the need to amend the procedural rules. It is now calling on the public to comment on the 52-page draft on the rules on its website until August 20. The draft contains revised guidelines on the DTI jurisdiction, the venue of mediation, and adjudication of former charges, and expedited procedures, among others. Likewise, it covers appeals, as well as additional and special proceedings for violations under the Internet Transactions Act, IDA. The IDA, which was signed into law back in December 2023, aims to promote e-commerce transactions while safeguarding consumer rights. It mandates the creation of an e-commerce bureau, which will be under the which will be under the DTI to create an online business registry that will provide government and consumers access to information of businesses selling online. The number of customer complaints received by the DTI went up by 3% in 2023, with volume hitting a total of 28,824 complaints. Of these, 31% were mediated and adjudicated, while 69% were endorsed to other appropriate government agencies. Most of the complaints involved decisive, unfair, and unconscionable sales acts and practices, according to the DTI. And the Commission on Human on Saturday urged lawmakers to grant the appeal of the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology to increase the food and medical allowance for persons deprived of liberty. BJMP Chief Jail Director Rural Rivera on Thursday asked the House Appropriations Panel on budget deliberations for a 100 peso meal allowance and 30 peso medical allowance for PDLs. The CHR respectfully urges our legislators to consider BJMP's appeal. After all, the Commission believes we share the same goal to ensure human conditions and adequate resources for the reformation of our PDLs, as well as to treat them with dignity and respect, said CHR in a statement. CHR noted that the current food and medical allowances for PDLs remain unchanged since 2022, despite the ongoing economic challenges where PDLs are only allocated 70 pesos per meal. Sorry, not per meal, 70 pesos meal allowance per day, while the daily medical allowance amounts to 15 pesos. The CHR likewise pointed out that the government should conform to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, where Article 10, Part 3 states that all persons deprived of their liberty shall be treated with humanity and with respect for the inherent dignity of the human person. Article 10 also mandates that the penitentiary system shall comprise treatment of prisoners, the essential aim of which shall be their reformation and social rehabilitation. As a state party to the ICCPR, the Commission emphasizes that the state has an obligation to adhere to these international standards and fully respect the rights of our individuals, including PDLs. This responsibility entails providing sufficient funds for their basic food and medical needs, added CHR. The House of Representatives on July 29 received the 6.352 trillion pesos national budget proposal for 2025, which is a 10.1% increase than the 5.768 trillion pesos national budget in 2024. 2.12 trillion pesos or 33.4% is allocated for social services, 1.85 trillion pesos or 29.2% for economic services, 1.08 trillion pesos or 17% for general public service, 876.7 billion pesos or 13.7% for debt services, and 419.3 billion pesos or 6.6% for defense. It is now 6:13 in the evening, and koolNews at 6 will be right back.
Ready for the power!
Welcome back to koolNews at 6. Let's continue with the headlines. A motorcyclist was shot and killed in an alleged shootout with the police in Taytay, Rizal on Friday. The Region 4A Police in a spot report on Saturday, August 17, said that police officers were conducting Oplancita and flagged out a certain Joseph in Barangay Santa Ana at around 1:30 a.m. The rider disregarded the police officers and sped off. The police officers gave chase, but the motorcyclist reportedly opened fire. The police officers hit the rider, who expired while being taken to Taytay Emergency Hospital. No other information on the slain rider was made available. Obesity is seen to persist in the country as more Filipinos are predicted to become overweight in the next 20 years. Dr. Nemencio Nicodemus Jr., president of the Philippine Association for the Study of Overweight and Obesity, said in a press conference that obesity tendencies in the country will not end this year, citing a study by the World Obesity Federation on the prevalence of obesity among Filipinos. This trend of increasing number of people with obesity in our country will not end this year. The International Obesity Federation estimates that in the next 20 years, the number of Filipinos with overweight and obesity will continue to increase, the expert said Thursday. Nicodemus said in his presentation that from 2020 to 2035, the projected annual increase in Filipino adult obesity and Filipino child obesity is 4.6% and 6.9% respectively. The more important reason on why we should be worried on the prevalence in the increase of obesity in our country is because it is one of the top 10 risk factors driving death and disability, the doctor added. According to a 2023 study by the World Obesity Federation, 51% of the world's population, or more than 4 billion people, is forecast to have obesity in 2035. The study also suggests that the rise in obesity will be quick among children in lower income countries. Nicodemus said that a high body mass index, which is a measure of obesity, has already been a concern even before the COVID-19 pandemic. High BMI is the highest in terms of change in the prevalence of those risk factors, even before COVID-19 struck the entire world. Our country is at risk. Many are at risk of disability and death, and one of those contributors to early death is high body mass index, which is a measure of overweight and obesity, he said. Based on his presentation, high BMI stood at the 7th spot of factors contributing to death and disability from 2009 to 2019. Malnutrition, use of tobacco, and air pollution were at the top 3 factors, respectively. Further, the doctor also emphasized that overweight and obesity have socioeconomic impacts in the country. The reason why we must intervene early is not just the health, but based on the survey, it has an economic impact. People who have overweight and obesity consume healthcare services more, he said. According to Nicodemus, obese people are at higher risk of absenteeism and presenteeism, which means that they might be present at work but cannot function well. He noted that based on the World Obesity Federation data about the effect of obesity in the country's gross domestic product, the cost impact of obesity actually ranges about 2.4% on the national GDP of the Philippines by 2035. What is the main reason why the DOH Department of Health should be in the middle of the fight against obesity? Because there are also socioeconomic environment that may make obesity develop. You want to exercise, but there are no right place for that, he added. In April, Muntinlupa City Representative Jimmy Fesnedi filed House Bill number 10162, or the National Integrated Obesity Management, that would serve as the framework for a comprehensive national program to curb obesity among Filipinos. The bill also mandates the creation of the National Integrated Obesity Management Council under the Department of Health. And now let's get into what's happening around the world. Venezuela opposition leader Maria Corina Machado urged supporters Friday to keep up the fight on the eve of protests called against the election victory claimed by strongman Nicolas Maduro, but widely rejected at home and abroad. Anti-Maduro protests have claimed 25 lives so far, with dozens injured and more than 2,400 arrested since the July 28 vote that both the president and opposition say they had won. Magdo had called for fresh demonstrations in more than 300 cities in Venezuela and abroad on Saturday, what she called a protest for the truth. She herself will participate in the march in the capital Caracas, where supporters of the regime have also vowed together. The country's CNE Electoral Council proclaimed Maduro the winner of a third six-year term, giving him 52% of votes cast but without providing a detailed breakdown of the results. The opposition says polling station level results show its candidate, Edmundo Gonzalez Urrutia, won more than two-thirds of the vote. Gonzalez Urrutia had replaced Macado on the boulevard after her candidacy was blocked by institutions loyal to Maduro in office since 2013. The duo has been mostly in hiding since the president accused them post-election of seeking to foment a coup d'état and called for them to be jailed. Maduro's victory claim has been rejected by the United States, European Union, and several Latin American countries. Macado called in a live Instagram broadcast Friday for people to keep up the fight and stand strong against Maduro's strategy of demoralization through lies, repression, violence. Neighbors Colombia and Brazil on Thursday called for fresh elections in Venezuela, but Macado said this would show a lack of respect for the popular will already expressed on July 28. Maduro, for his part, insisted Friday afternoon that Venezuela does not accept imposition, interventionism, or anyone putting their filthy hands in our beloved country. Brazil's Luis Inacio Lula da Silva, traditionally a leftist ally of Maduro, took a harsh tone on Friday, describing the regime in Caracas as very unpleasant as he insisted it release a detailed vote breakdown. In a radio interview, Lula declined to label the Maduro government a dictatorship, but said it had an authoritarian bias. What I'm asking for in order to be able to recognize the winner is at least to know if the numbers were true. I can only recognize them if they were democratic, if they show the evidence, he insisted. The Organization of American States approved a resolution in Washington Friday urging Caracas to expeditiously publish the presidential election records, including the voting results at the level of each polling station. And finally, in showbiz happenings, actress singer Carolina has joined the cast of the upcoming Filipino fronted reality show Manila Matriarchs. In a report by The Deadline, the unscripted series will be headlined by Cariel, along with fashion professional Marisa Sison and entrepreneurs John Ana Pretzeler Francisco and Trisha Badicu Tisao. With San Francisco and Metro Manila as backdrops, the 8-part series is set to follow the lives of 4 women from the Philippines as they navigate motherhood, sisterhood, careers, love, and social standing in the pursuit of true happiness. And that is it for koolNews at 6. As always, you can get in touch with us at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com. And join us again later for more news headlines later with koolNews Primetime at 9 in the evening. Until then, I'm Cairo. Good evening.